found in the woods, the final hours of Seaman Angelina Resendiz. Hi everyone. A Navy seaman vanishes without a trace. No goodbye, no sign of struggle, just silence. For days the military searched. Family held on to hope. Then a grim discovery deep in the Virginia woods. She was only 21. What began as a missing person alert would soon lead to an active duty sailor in cuffs and more questions than answers. This is not just a story of a disappearance. It's a chilling account of military secrecy, unanswered calls, and a final journey no one saw coming. Stay with us as we uncover the final days of Angelina Resendiz and the manhunt that turned inward. Dear friends, the evening of May 29, 2024 seemed like any other night at Naval Station Norfolk. Inside Miller Hall, sailors settled in mess halls quieted, and lights dimmed in the barracks. Among those expected to report for duty the next morning was 21-year-old Seaman Angelina Resendiz, a culinary specialist known for her warmth, dedication, and unbreakable connection to her family. But when she failed to appear for her shift, the silence that followed would grow into a deafening mystery. Angelina's absence triggered immediate concern, not just from her command, but especially from her family in Texas. Her mother, Esmeralda Castle, became alarmed after multiple calls and texts went unanswered. That alone was chilling. Angelina had a daily communication ritual with her younger sister. They had a 400-day Snapchat streak, and she never missed a day. But that Thursday night, everything stopped. Naval Station Norfolk reported her missing. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service NCIS classified the disappearance as critical, citing concern for her health and safety. Soon, the base was crawling with investigators, and search efforts spread across city lines. The Virginia State Police joined forces with Norfolk Police and Virginia Search and Rescue. The case had gone from troubling to urgent. Angelina did not own a car. She had no known plans to leave. Her bank accounts had no activity. Her phone was silent. To her family, it felt like she had vanished into thin air. She just stopped existing, her mother said. No transactions, no calls, no messages, nothing. Meanwhile, back on base, investigators followed protocols. Room checks, interviews, access logs, surveillance footage. But even within the strict confines of a military installation, no clear lead emerged. The pressure on NCIS mounted. A sailor vanishing on federal property was rare, and if foul play was involved, someone in uniform might be responsible. On June 6th, the heartbreaking news came. A search team discovered a body in a wooded area near Norfolk. The remains were later confirmed to be those of Seaman Angelina Resendiz. The optimism of finding her alive crumbled in an instant. Almost simultaneously, a statement was issued. A fellow Navy sailor had been placed in pre-trial confinement in connection with Angelina's death. Charges were pending under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. The identity of the detained sailor was not released, but the message was clear: this was no longer a disappearance. This was now a homicide investigation. The military legal system governed by the UCMJ operates differently than the civilian courts. Suspects are often confined before formal charges are filed, especially in cases involving potential violence on base. Angelina's case, given the swift shift from missing to murdered, indicated that NC and military prosecutors had gathered substantial early evidence. But for her family, the horror had only just begun. Esmeralda Castle spoke to local reporters through tears. She described her daughter as loving, thoughtful, and deeply loyal. Angelina had chosen Navy life to serve her country, but she remained deeply connected to home. She never missed calls. She never went silent. Media outlets quickly picked up the story, painting a picture of a young woman who had everything ahead of her. No history of conflict, no behavioral concerns. Just a quiet, dedicated sailor who vanished from the one place meant to guarantee her safety. NCIS made only brief statements citing the active investigation. But behind those statements was a mountain of questions. Where exactly was her body found? Had she been assaulted? Was this someone she knew? Why hadn't base security cameras caught anything? Why did it take over a week to locate her when she never left the area? Military bases are designed with layers of security. Entry and exit logs, badge scans, surveillance, all elements that should help solve cases quickly. Yet in this case, there were more unknowns than answers. The tight-lipped nature of NCIS's investigation only deepened public suspicion. Some speculated about a romantic relationship gone wrong. Others wondered about retaliation or even a cover-up. The family, while devastated, held on to one hope: that justice would come and that the truth would not be buried under red tape. The sailor in custody remains unnamed publicly. That's typical during ongoing military investigations where identities are protected until charges are finalized. But sources close to the base confirmed that the sailor and Angelina were at least acquainted. Whether their relationship went deeper romantic, personal, or professional remains undisclosed. Angelina's remains were transported home to Texas, where her family held a small private memorial. Her mother described the pain as unreal, a feeling that something had been stolen, not just her child, but her child's future. Military justice can move slowly. Before any trial, there must be an Article 32 hearing, a type of preliminary hearing, to determine if enough evidence exists to proceed to court-martial. If charges are brought, the trial will likely take place on base with limited public access. For the family, this means a long wait, and perhaps limited answers. What's clear is that the system failed to protect a young woman who dedicated her life to service. Whether through negligence, violence, or betrayal, Angelina Resendiz's death has shaken confidence in military protocol and raised urgent questions about the safety of service members, even in their own barracks. This is more than a case. It's a call to accountability. Who was watching that night? What was missed, and why did it take death for anyone to start asking questions? As we await more information, one thing is certain. The family of Seaman Angelina Resendiz deserves answers. They deserve justice. And so does she. The life of Seaman Angelina Resendiz didn't end in a faraway war zone or at sea, but just miles from her duty post in silence and without warning. She was a daughter, a sister, and a proud Navy sailor. And her death has left behind a trail of pain, confusion, and deep questions about the people around her and the system that swore to protect her. The Navy has promised accountability. Her family wants justice. But until the full truth comes to light, we're left with the haunting image of a 21-year-old who disappeared in the night and never came home. Was it betrayal? A hidden relationship? Or something even darker? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. We're not done asking questions, because behind every disappearance is a story waiting to be told.